¿Vienes con tu mamá o tu papá?
Nadie. Yo venía en un grupo que venía de entrega con usted y al final me dejaron botar y venía aquí a pedir auxilio.
¿Te dejaron botado y te dijeron que vinieras a pedir auxilio?
No, yo vengo porque...
Heartbreaking video has emerged showing a young migrant boy walking alone in Texas near the border after he was dumped by a large group that he was travelling with. After crossing the Rio Grande River in Texas, the terrified small boy spent the night in an area of the desert riddled with rattlesnakes and wild animals. A Border Patrol agent came across the boy along a road on a rainy day in La Grula, a small community near Rio Grande City, just north of the Texas-Mexico border. The boy is weeping as he clarifies to the agent that he was travelling with a group and was abandoned, and said he was afraid of being robbed or kidnapped. "I came with a group," the boy spoke in Spanish. "They dumped me and I don't know where they are," as he held back tears. "They can rob me, kidnap me, I am afraid." The boy was taken to a Border Patrol station nearby. The agency said the 10-year-old boy is from Nicaragua. He was travelling with a group of about 80 people and woke up together he had been left behind. The group was detained later. In the fiscal year 2021, Customs and Border Protection expects 184,000 unaccompanied minors to cross the US border. Though only an estimate, it would be the largest number of unaccompanied alien children ever recorded. The figure is more than double the 76,020 children detained during the 2019 border crisis. Gloria Chavez, the US Border Patrol El Paso sector chief, released a statement after the video was released. She said, "To all parents who are considering sending their unaccompanied children to the border, please reconsider because it is very dangerous to expose children." This comes after the US border authorities found more than 170,000 migrants at the Texas border last month, which is purportedly the highest monthly total in around 20 years. Almost 5,000 children were in Border Patrol care as of last week, and over 13,000 were in the custody of the Department of Health and Human Services. The dramatic surge in unaccompanied migrant children at the border has overstretched federal detention centres, and the Biden government has struggled to keep up with the flood of minors. The administration announced on Tuesday that it was contemplating restarting construction of former President Donald Trump's border wall, which Biden had stopped when he took office in January. Vice President Kamala Harris was appointed to lead the administration's efforts to tackle migration problems at the border as it encounters condemnation for its dearth of accountability at border facilities. The Supreme Court dismissed the Second Circuit federal court ruling that former President Donald Trump violated the First Amendment rights by blocking his critics from commenting on his Twitter account. The Second Circuit federal court judge ruled against the former president, saying that his Twitter account resembled a public forum that served as an official source of information about the government. Trump, using his control of the Twitter account, blocked several people from interacting with his messages was against the constitutional law. The Supreme Court vacated the lower court's ruling as Trump is no longer in office, and it was Twitter that barred Trump from its platform and clearly instructed the Second Circuit Federal Court to dismiss the case as moot or no longer active. The United States Supreme Court Associate Justice Clarence Thomas said the social media platform Twitter enables the users to manually block others from republishing or responding. Any control Mr. Trump exercised over the account greatly paled in comparison to Twitter's authority, dictated in its terms of service to remove the account at any time for any or no reason. If part of the problem is private, concentrated control over online content and platforms available to the public, then part of the solution may be found in doctrines that limit the right of a private company to exclude, said Dr. Thomas. As Twitter made clear, the right to cut off speech lies most powerfully in the hands of private digital platforms. The extent to which that power matters for purposes of the First Amendment and the extent to which that power could lawfully be modified raise interesting and important questions, Thomas wrote. Over 200 Chinese vessels congregated at Whitsun Reef, a disputed island in the South China Sea, since March, triggering a new round of diplomatic argument. Chinese diplomats said that the boats were sheltering from rough seas. These so-called fishing boats remained in the area despite improved weather conditions. On March 25th, the Philippine military deployed more warships in the South China Sea on a sovereign patrol mission after the Philippines' repeated diplomatic protest went unanswered. On Sunday, April 4th, the Philippines Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzan released a statement. The continued presence of Chinese maritime militias in the area reveals their intent to further occupy areas in the West Philippine Sea, Philippines' name for the South China Sea. The Philippines called repeatedly for the Chinese boats to leave Whitsun Reef. The Chinese embassy in Manila responded that it was completely normal for Chinese vessels to fish in the area and take shelter near the reef during rough sea conditions. Nobody has the right to make wanton remarks on such activities, he added. Harry Roque, a spokesman for Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte, said at a press conference that the president is very worried and that any country would be concerned about the number of these vessels. He also said that the president, during a meeting with Chinese ambassador Huang Xilian, reiterated the 2016 ruling by an international court on the sovereignty dispute between the two countries in the South China Sea. In an interview on March 24th, former Philippine Supreme Court Justice Antonio Carpio, one of the legal counsels that secured the Philippines' victory over China at the International Court in The Hague, said he was in particular worried that China, by parking hundreds of ships believed to be manned by its maritime militia at the Julian Philippe Reef, Philippines' name for Whitsun Reef, was using the same strategy in occupying Mischief Reef in 1995. In 1995, China occupied Mischief Reef on the pretext of creating a haven for fishermen. In recent years, the Chinese Communist Party has been reclaiming land, building military projects and deploying military aircraft and radar in the disputed areas of the South China Sea, raising the alarm of the international community. On March 23rd, the US Indo-Pacific Command said that the US cruiser USS Bunker Hill completed a passing exercise with the Australian Navy in the Indian Ocean on March 10, and both sides trained in communication and navigation techniques. Great Britain, France and Germany have made announcements to send ships through the South China Sea to exercise the right of freedom of navigation. As of the 4th, 40 Chinese vessels still remain at Whitsun Reef despite improved weather conditions.